Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody's having a good start to their week. So I'm going to start out my post. As a system, multi-domain operations have the potential to provide U.S. military with some key advantages over our adversaries. We're facing evolving and unique threats from near-peer competitors as well as non-state actors in all 5 domains: air, sea, land, space, and cyber. As mentioned in the document, the U.S. Army and Multi-Domain Operations 2028, and I quote, "If all branches of the military are thinking multi-domain operations, there will be no more relying on any one branch to deal with a specific threat. All of the branches will be equipped and trained to handle the various threats presented to them, and as a united front with the MDO, multi-domain operations, capabilities, the joint forces will be that much more formidable," end quote. Thus, the question becomes, what is multi-domain operations? For each branch, it holds a slightly different definition, but the goal is the same: to overwhelm your enemy's OODA loop, thereby making any type of retaliation ineffective. To expound on that, the Air Force Perspective document explains further, complicating an adversary's, and I'm quoting here, complicating an adversary's planning increases the likelihood of weaknesses in the plan. If a force increases the number of possible attack vectors, it creates dilemmas for the adversary. The Air Force document, which focuses on the importance of fostering strong leaders and airmen in the coming years, goes on to state, true multi-domain operations present coordinated challenges across time and space that are domain agnostic, converging and disrupting in multiple domains simultaneously, creating windows of superiority that can be exploited to penetrate, persist, protect, or punish to achieve desired effects. Additionally, the Army document explains the central idea in solving this problem of facing threats on many different fronts, the air, sea, land, space, and cyber, is the rapid and continuous integration of all domains of warfare to deter and prevail as we compete short of armed conflict. If deterrence fails, however, Army formations operating as part of the joint force penetrate and disintegrate enemy anti-access and area denial systems, exploit the resulting freedom of maneuver to defeat enemy systems formations and objectives, and to achieve our own strategic objectives and consolidate gains to force a return to competition on terms more favorable to the U.S., our allies, and partners. The goal of multi-domain operations would be for all branches of the military to have that same mindset. So, to state my opinion a little bit in this, my concern with this system, as it is and it is also mentioned briefly in the Joint Forces 2020 document, is the military branches may be becoming somewhat of jack of all trades, masters of none with this doctrine. That is my concern. There's reason that each branch of the military has its own specialty. They have the missions and resources to combat certain types of threats. That's just the way that our military has evolved over time. The Joint Forces document states, quote, "Globally integrated operations emphasize organizational flexibility. That is the ability to practically any unit. That is the ability for practically any unit to integrate with practically any other. But truly effective integration between services requires familiarity, trust, and teamwork created by repeated joint training, as well as the precise combination of specialized skills. Forces must not enhance their modularity, at the expense of their mission effectiveness." So that was listed in the Joint Forces document under possible concerns for this future doctrine, and I have to agree. For instance, in my line of work, if the SWAT team that I'm on is tasked with working with a neighboring jurisdiction's team, and we're supposed to move as a team through a house or a structure or whatever, and we're not using the same types of tactics, techniques, and procedures, you're not going to have an effective and safe movement through that structure. Additionally, and you might remember this from the previous couple of modules, I think it was Module 3, Philip Carver of the Potomac Foundation mentioned in his video, he mentioned this very issue when he said, "Not defining and focusing on at least one major type of threat, you are too generalized and cannot be effective against that threat." Carver may have a point when it comes to implementing this system. It is likely one of the hurdles the military will need to jump over, but that certainly doesn't mean that it can't be done. War is changing. Our American definition of hostile acts and war making will have to change as well. multi-domain operations are the necessary progression in modern warfare and must be implemented in the correct way, both quickly and efficiently, to combat the adversaries that may very soon come knocking at our door. Thank you for your time.